Alrighty, hello class. So what I'm going to be doing in this video is I'm going to show you how to set up a basic house in Revit. And so this is going to be something that we're going to be creating. It's going to look something like this. As you can see, I got doors in here, got windows. I've also got hardwood flooring. Also got a carpet in here. And then you see that I have this brick wall on the outside, and I've also got a concrete pad as a foundation. And so I'm currently viewing this in a 3D view. As I'm moving around and viewing this in different ways, what I'm actually doing is I'm holding down Shift on my keyboard, and then the scroll wheel that is on my mouse, I'm actually pressing down on that, and then I'm moving my mouse around. So that's how we actually do that. But anyways, let's go ahead and let's get down to business. What I'm going to do is I'm going to save this old file. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually create a new file. And so we can just go with this Imperial Construction template. I'm going to press OK. And then now, as you're going to see, I'm going to have a blank project. Now, this blank project has got tons of different floor plans on here. It's level 1, 2, top of footing, top of basement, top of foundation wall, roof, and then site. We've also got ceiling plans in here, and then also the 3D views here as well. So if I go to 3D right now, you'll see that we've got nothing actually that we're viewing except for these lines over here. Now, these lines, those are elevations, and so right here, that's where the elevations are at. If I look at this from the north side, you'll see that we've got all these other ones. Now, we are not going to actually have a basement, but we can keep that. These other ones we're not really going to be messing with. These, however, we will be. Now, this is a Habitat for Humanity home, which means that these are really small houses, right? So what we're going to be building is actually, it's not going to have a second level to it. So all I'm going to do is I just clicked on that and I pressed delete on my keyboard. Then up next, we've got the roof. Now, the roof, the most common go-to height to get to your roof is 10 foot. So it's basically each story is 10 foot in our houses. And so I'm going to have my roof be at 10 foot there. And then you'll see that I got level 1 here. And then I've also got level 04, top of foundation wall there. But anyways, we're going to go ahead and keep it like that. And what I'm going to then do is go back to my floor plans. I'm going to level 1. And so now what we're going to do, just starting off, is we're going to create our walls, or we could actually create the floor. So it's really up to you on how you want to do this. I'm actually going to create the wall first. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this, and then I'm going to click create wall, create structural wall. You could end up creating either of those two. And so now just some things to note up here. This will allow me to create the walls using a line. This will allow me to create them using a rectangle. So if we try this out, you can see that I'm creating this, right? And then I can just drag this out like this. So this is probably the easiest way to go about this. Now, however, as you can see, I've got, if I drag this all the way over here, I've got some huge dimensions on there. So we actually don't want to have those dimensions. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to press escape, and then I'm going to try to create this in the center here. And so now what we're going to be doing is I'm going to be creating a 1-bedroom house for the Habitat for Humanity. So what I am restricted to for that 1-bedroom house is 900 square feet. And so what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm just going to click on here. I'm going to press escape, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to press escape again. Oop, actually, no, I'm not. I'm going to click on one of these walls, and then I'm going to click on this align dimensions here. What I can also do is just click down here. But basically what I want to make this is 30 feet by 30 feet here. And if I do that, if we just use our good old calculator, if I take 30 times 30, right, same thing as 3 times 3, and then just multiply that by 100, it's 900 square feet. So this is the requirement for my Habitat for Humanity house. It has to be at maximum 900 square feet for the area. Now, what I want to do is I want to go along here, and I just want to make sure that these arrows are on the outside. Sometimes they might be on the inside. What you do is just click on that. But then now what I also want to do is I want to go through here and click on each of these walls. Now if I hold down Control, that will allow me to select multiple walls. So this is going to make my life a little bit easier because I can select all those walls at one time. And so now what I want to introduce you all to is the Properties tab over here. Okay, so the Properties tab, what we can end up doing is we can click right here, and then we'll see that there's tons of different drop downs on here. So if I click on this, for instance, it's going to make this have a little bit of a thicker wall. Now, one other thing that I want to mention is that sometimes this property window does not actually show up. So let's say that it's the case where you don't see it, you just see the project browser window. Same thing for project browser window. If that's not showing up, all you have to do is just go to view, and then you have to click user interface. User interface, and then what you can do is you can click the properties or project browser, whichever one you're looking for, and then it's going to show up. So now you'll see I got this property tab again. Okay, so now we have basically changed these walls so that they have this other different exterior basically. And so now if I actually go to my 3D view, which I can access it from right here, I also opened it up earlier, so it's going to show right here. What we're going to notice is that my wall is not really that tall at all, right? So what we need to do is we need to go back in here and we've got to change some things. And what we want to change are these in the properties window. Now the base constraint, this is basically where this wall is starting off at. What I want to do is I want to change that. It should start at level 1. And so it's telling us the top of the wall is lower than the base of the wall, so I'm going to press cancel. And so what we want to do first is change this so that it's going up to the roof level. Then what I can do is I can go back in here and start at my base constraint at level 1. Now if I apply this, what we're going to see is that it gives us a better height, right? And so if I go back to my elevation view, which remember, I just got that from over here, north, what we can do is I can see this now, that this is starting off here, and then as you can see, it starts at level 1, then goes to the roof, right? So level 1, and then there's the roof. Okay, so one other thing that we can end up doing here is we can move these guys a little bit closer. So I do just want to move them closer so that I can see that a little bit better. Also, I want to make sure that I'm not, which I think I kind of messed this up. Hold up. Oh, I'm so close. Hold on. What we're going to do is this, and I think if I hold down Control or Shift, maybe this will keep it leveled. Okay, so if I hold down Control, it makes it have more even increments that I'm moving at. There we go. So then now it's good. What happened there was that it just created additional ones. I don't remember exactly how to move those over, but basically I was trying to move those over so we could see them a little bit better. There we go. That's what it was. That's what we needed to do. So all I did was just click on that top one and then moved it over. But anyway, so now we got that. And so you can see in this 3D view, we've got this black and white kind of drawing. So what I can do is if I go down here to this little square guy, I can click on shaded. Then now you'll see that we've got it where this brick's showing up, and then we also see the inside of this. Now if I also click on realistic, it makes it look a little bit more realistic. So holding down Shift and clicking on that center scroll wheel, I can move around and get some different views in here. So now next thing that we want to do is we want to actually add in our rooms. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and go back to the architecture tab. Basically, anytime we're trying to create anything, we're going to go to the architecture tab. Then what I want to do is click on the wall. Now the wall, I'm just going to end up selecting an architectural wall this time. And then what I can do is I can click on this line tool. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to make my room be 12 feet by 12 feet is what I'm going to do. So I'm going to do 12 feet by 12 feet. Now this is going to be kind of small. So what we're going to do is in here, now we've got that created. What I can do is I can end up pressing escape, and then I'm going to click on this once, and I'm going to click on this guy. Now as you can see, this is a basic wall. It's generic and it's 8 inches thick, which is really, really thick. All we want for the interior walls is just some 4 and 7/8 inch partition. And so these are just going to be very slim walls, as you can see. That's basically just going to allow us to get some privacy in there. So then now what I can do is in this room that we created, we can end up actually creating some doors in there. So I'm going to go ahead and create a door. I'm going to do a single door. Now this is the single flush door here. If I click on that, I'll get some other options for what I can end up using. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to create, I'm going to go ahead and create a door to my room that's going to be right here. So now there's different options what I can do. If I hold down space or if I just click space, I can actually rotate this so that it's on a different side. So maybe I want it to open up in this manner. I'm going to go ahead and do that. And then so now what I can also do is I can end up creating the doors for the actual house, right, for the main entrance. However, is this the kind of door that we would have for our house? No, it is not for the main entrance at least. This is like an interior door. So if I press escape and then I press escape again, what I can do is I can actually load in some new doors. And so for some of you all, it might work where if you go to door and then you go to load family, you might end up being able to find the files in here by messing around. You go out, and then usually it's in either Revit 2022, and then you can go in libraries, and then English Imperial. It'll show up, but for me, for some reason, it did not show up. What I was also trying to do is back out. If you go to Revit 2020, usually that has it. You could also try Revit 2023 after you try Revit 2020, but in this case, again, it's not showing up for me. So what I have to actually do is I have to press Escape twice, and then what I've got to do is I've got to go to Insert, and then I go to Load Autodesk Family from the cloud. Now, if I click on this, then this will allow me to search for different options. So door is what I want, and I could be even more specific where I want it to be an exterior door, right? So I'm going to go ahead and type that in, exterior door. And then I'll get all these different exterior doors. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and go with this door right here. I'm going to load that. I'm going to click OK. And then what I'm also going to do is I'm going to load another one of those exterior doors. This is going to be for my backyard. I'm going to use that door, the double doors. And so we're going to load that one too. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to Architecture tab, click Door. And then now you'll see that this door right here is selected with the basically a double door, right? So now what I can do, so I'm going to go ahead and place them in the back here. So this is going to be like where my back patio is for my yard. And then what I'm also going to do is I'm going to go ahead and come in here, and then I'm going to select this door and put this in the, maybe I'll put this in around like the center here. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and put that in around the center. And so now, if I press Escape twice, it'll get me out of that window. But if I want to make any changes, I can go in here and I can kind of fudge these numbers a little bit, move this around. But I'm feeling pretty good about that. So now if I go back to my 3D view, you'll see that I've got my doors in there now, as well as this, and then I've also got my little partition walls up for my bedroom. And so now what we'd want to do is maybe add in some windows, and then also we're going to add in our flooring as well. Okay, so let's go ahead, let's go back to our floor plan. I'm going to exit out one of these because as you can see, they're identical, pretty much the same. Oh, actually that is from my previous project. So I'm going to go in here to this project that we're currently working on. And then now what I want to do is I want to add in the windows. So once again, go to Architecture tab. We're going to add in window. And then what we can do is we can select the drop downs here as well. And then remember, you can also always end up going into the Insert tab. And then, we could do Load Autodesk Family. I'm actually just going to go with this double hung window and call this good. And so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to place these somewhere. Now, I can also go to my 3D view here. And then what I can also do is decide where I want to place them from here. So maybe I want one in the front here. So what we can do is we can kind of look at this, and then I can say, okay, maybe I want it right here. And then maybe I want another one, and I want it to be right there as well. Okay. And then maybe I want a third and final one, maybe like right here to my bedroom, so that I have a little window in there. Okay, so now you'll see that I have all these windows that were added in. I'll press Escape twice, and I'll get out of adding in the windows. Okay, so that's what my house looks like so far. Last, almost final thing I'm going to show you is adding in the floor. So these are the second to last thing I'm going to show you in this video. Anyways, if I go on here, floor, and I go to structural floor, we'd want to create that first. And so basically what we can do again is we can select the rectangle tool up here, and this will create a floor boundary. And so basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and just select this, and then I'm going to create the boundary of the concrete that's going to be on here. And so now, as you can see, this is a concrete slab, 6 inches in depth. And then what I can end up doing is I can also put where the level is going to be at. So then what we're going to do is we're going to actually put this on level 4, which is the foundation wall. If I click apply and we press the green check mark, then now what we're going to see is that this is a little bit far down, right? And so if you'll remember, the foundation wall is actually a foot below. So what we could do is we could end up just changing this where we make this be negative, so 0. And then 6 inches, because what we're going to use is just a 6-inch concrete pad here. So what we're going to do, and then what we'd want to do is maybe go to our north wall as well. And then let's just kind of take a look at this. So the level here is level 1. Now what's level 1 doing here? Level 1 is right here. Level 4 is right here. Now this is what we thought was negative 6 inches. However, it's seeming as though that is not the case because we are a little bit down there. Okay, I think maybe we've figured something out here. Let's check this out. let's go ahead and let's go in here. So this guy is still top of foundation wall. Interesting. So what we could always do is we could put it on level 1. Now if we put it on level 1, now we're going to see that it is overlapping there. All right, yeah, it's basically in contact with the bottom. So that is what we want. What I originally thought was that if we did the -6 inches, that basically it would be 6 inches below here. But just from looking at this, I can see that this is what we want. So we're just going to have that on level 1 there. And then so now what we can also do is, after we have this little 6-inch structural layer here, we can basically end up adding in another floor. So I can go in a floor here. This time we're going to do architectural floor this time around. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and look at it from this top view here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually use the line tool here. And I can also go back into this. I'm going to use the line tool, and basically I'm going to create some hardwood flooring that's going to go in my house all around here. So it's going to be in my main room. And then basically for my bedroom, I'm going to add in some carpet is what we're just going to do. And so now obviously I am forgetting the bathroom, but just for simplicity reasons, just kind of going through this with you all. So now I've created this boundary line here. What I want to do first before pressing the green check mark is I want to go through and I want to actually edit the type of floor that we're going to create for this. So now you're going to see structure, and then what we see up here is the type. So now if I click the type, there's all these different options. What I want to do is I want to click duplicate, and I want to do hardwood. So we can do hardwood, and then so now, as you see from here, there's a drop down option for the hardwood that we just created. Well, what I can do is I can edit this material. Now obviously the hardwood is not concrete, and it's also not going to be 6 inches of thickness. I'm just going to put 1 inch in for this, and then what we're going to do is we're going to click right here, and then we're going to be able to change this. So now what I could do is I could type in wood. Now this is going to give me all the different types of wood that we can end up using. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to use this cherry wood. I like the color of that, right? And so we're going to go ahead and click OK. Now what we're going to also do is we're going to click OK again. And then now there are the graphics. So if you double click this, you can actually change the graphics of how this appears for the fill patterns and the drafting. And so what you could end up doing, I don't know, you could go through here and you could end up finding something. Some of these are specified for like certain things though, so you want to be careful with that. But I don't know, let's just throw in the diagonal down small, and I'm going to click OK. So then now what I'm going to do is I'm going to press green check mark. And whenever I go back into my 3D drawing, what we're going to see is that that floor that we just created did not show up, and instead it showed up all the way down here, right? So what we want to do is we want to go to the properties tab, we want to go to levels, and then we basically want to put this on level 1. Now if I apply this, what we're also going to see is that the highlighted floors overlap. So now the reason for that is because this actually needs to be put a certain level above that, right? It's because it is going to be a certain level above the concrete. So if I go 1 inch above, because we have 1 inch of thickness for our hardwood, then you're going to see that we have the correct basically height on that. Now on here as well, we probably could have ended up doing the hardwood flooring over this as well, just so that it's not the exposed concrete in there. However, I was thinking we could put a different material on that. Let's go ahead and let's just say that, hey, we decided that we want to put hardwood flooring in there. So then what we can do is if I actually go back in here, I can select this. And then I can click edit boundary. Now what I can also do here is I can end up coming in here, and then we can go back into level 1, and then I can actually select it. And here, right here, boom, select this point, and basically run some lines over this, just like that. And then now what I can also do is there should be a little, let's see here, trim. So then I can use this little trim line. And so now we can trim that, but we don't want to do it that way. We want to trim it there. Can't keep elements joined. Let's see here, show. So this is sometimes where we just have to go in here. We just gotta click cancel, or we just gotta delete some things. So if I go back in here, I can actually change this line so it goes to right there. It's saying can't keep elements joined again. I'm just gonna click delete, and then what we're gonna do is we're just gonna use the line tool again. So sometimes you just gotta click delete. So now we've got that set up. Green check mark, boom, we're going to go back to 3D drawing, and then now as you can see, this is overlapped here as well. So we've got that. Same thing goes for the door too. We'd want to go into there and then also add that just for time's sake. going to skip that part for now though, but you definitely should go in there and do that. What we want to do is we want to add in the carpet in here, so it's just kind of the same process. We'd go to floor and then architectural. Then what we could do is just use the rectangle tool this time. And then now what I want to do is I want to set this up so that we've got the carpet in here. And then so now what we can do is we could do this, right? And then I'm going to click escape again, and then I'm actually going to delete this. And why am I deleting that? It's because we need to go through here, and then basically we're going to create this so that this carpet is going to be right here underneath this door. So then now press escape twice, and then what I need to do here is I need to change this. So this is going to be 1 inch above level 1. And then now what I want to do is I want to change this. I don't want this to be hardwood. I want this to be carpet. So I'm going to click edit in here. Oops, sorry. Actually, let's back it up. I'm going to click up here. I'm going to click duplicate. And what I'm going to do is in here is I'm going to type carpet. So then now I'm going to go to edit. And then instead of us having a material of cherry wood, we're going to actually type in carpet here. Now this carpet that shows up is red. And so if you double click this and then you click right here, the source, this allows you to choose between different carpet images. So I don't really like that black either. I'm going to try this one maybe. That one also I don't like. Let's see here. So we can find maybe this one, carpet 1. Let's see, you probably can change. Okay, so I'll go with this color. Brightness, we can change that too, like make it a little bit more bright. Press done. So now we've got this kind of color here. I'm going to click apply. And then now this is what my carpet's going to look like here. So I'm going to click OK. And then now I'll press the green check mark. Remember, we didn't change that offset, the height offset. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back into my 3D view. And then so now you can see that I've got that carpet right there. That's kind of that brown carpet. Okay, so that's how we created the hardwood flooring, also added in the carpet, and then how we created the walls, the windows, and the doors. The last thing that I'm going to show you is how to add in furniture into this. So if you go right here into the architecture tab, you can click component, and then what you want to do is place a component. Now, for those of you that have it set up where you lucked out, and whenever you go to load family and it shows up, it'll just be underneath furniture is what we're adding in here. For me, sadly, it's not showing up. So what I got to do first is go to insert, load Autodesk family. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to find us a nice couch. So I'm going to find a nice couch to put in here. Maybe we go with this Viper couch. I'm going to click load. And then so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to architecture again, place a component. Then now you'll see that I got this couch. Now what I can do is I can press space to basically rotate this 90 degrees. And what I want to do is I want to have this set up so that my couch is right here. And then what I'm going to also do is put a TV stand and then also a TV over here. So now, let's go ahead and zoom out a little bit. What I'm going to try to do is I'm going to put my TV stand and TV over there. So what I'm going to do again is go to Insert, Load Autodesk Family, and then now what I want to do is I'm just going to type TV. That way it's ready for me. Next time I'm going to click TV Stand. Actually, let's load in the flat screen first. And then I'm going to go to Load Autodesk Family. I'm going to go to the TV Stand, click Load. And then now whenever I go to architecture and place a component, the TV stand is going to be the thing that shows up first. I'm going to press space just to kind of rotate that. And then I basically want to just make sure that this is pretty much in line with my couch. So I can do that. Press escape twice. And then now what I can do is I can go to component, place a component again. And then I'm just going to click the flat screen TV. And we're going to go kind of big. We're going to do a 50-inch TV. What I'm going to do is I'm going to press space. And then now I can place my TV. However, what you're going to see is that we do have a little bit of an error, a little bit of a problem with this. Whenever I look at my TV, you'll see that it is not on top of the stand. What we can do again is just click on this, and then we're going to click elevation from. What I can do is I can type in 1 foot and maybe 7 inches. Let's see here. It might be around it. Maybe it looks like, it kind of actually does look like it's right on there. What I can also always do is sometimes if you click on this, it'll actually tell you the height of that object. You can see some dimensions in there, but this does look pretty spot on, so that looks about right. So there's that. What you can also do is you can add in other items as well in here, and that's what we eventually will do later on too. So just a little bit of recap. What we did is we learned about the architectural tab, how to add in walls, the walls being structural walls, also architectural walls. We also learned about how to add in doors, And to get different doors, what we can do is we can click Insert and do the Load Autodesk Family so we can find different doors. Same thing for the different windows as well as our furniture. Also, we did create the floors, right? So we did floor, a structural floor, and then also an architectural floor. And remember, we can edit the material, edit the type of material that we use for our floors too. Anyways, hope that was helpful. If you got any questions, let me know. Good luck, everybody, on these Habitat for Humanity houses. Bye-bye.